What's up, everybody? How's it going? As you can probably tell, my computer's working. I got my computer back from the repair shop yesterday. It was at Best Buy from the Geek Squad being fixed for the past 5 days. So there was no content on the channel. That's why we're waiting so long to talk about Ahsoka. But man, it feels good though. Like I got StreamYard running, OBS running. I got like three different windows up on my page and my computer's only sitting at 49 degrees. It feels so good. I'm so glad. What's up, right, dude? What's up, Jared? How you guys doing today? If you guys are coming in, please do me a favor, smash that thumbs up button. I did send invites to Danny, Gaskar, and DJ, but they're all busy. This isn't. This is like a Storms Live special. Tomorrow's gonna be Storms Live. I wanted to focus on Loki because I wanted to talk about Ahsoka with my friend John because he's a huge Star Wars fan, just like I am, and just like me, he knows a lot about the lore, not only with canon but legends and stuff like that. So there's a lot of mixed reactions going on right now with people online about Ahsoka, but we're not gonna break down frame by frame by frame, but we're gonna talk about like the episode, the finale in general. We're gonna talk about the series. We're gonna talk about what's next. We're gonna talk about like all the nerdism of it. So yeah, so without further ado, like let's jump into it. If you guys are coming in, do me a favor, smash the thumbs up button. It was very much appreciated. That's like one of the best things you guys can do is just smash that thumbs up button. So all right, John, hit me. Ahsoka, mixed reactions from people. What's your thoughts?
Compared to any finale we've had for each Star Wars shows, this is the most Jedi in Star Wars I've seen from any of the recent shows.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
The first thing you told me was like the fucking Death Troopers, John. And why when I saw that, what went in the back of my head was Rob's gonna get to me. Rob's gonna get in touch with me. He's gonna be like, damn it. And what kills me is that they took the actual canon Death Troopers and turned them into the dead Death Troopers from their old Legends name. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. That's the thing. Well, I'm trying to check because I don't know if my mic output is. Am I coming across clear?
To me, I can hear you very well.
All right. No. Okay. I had my monitor volume up too high. Sorry. Like I said, guys, haven't had the computer for the full story. Yeah, dude. So I knew that was Thrawn's plan, right? Like I hated how people were like, "Oh man, we don't know what Thrawn's plan was." It was like, bro, we knew what Thrawn's plan was.
I didn't know that he was going to use the dead. I thought they were just going to be similar to Savage Opress, enhanced, like he was.
Well, he like, had like
stronger,
a whole hangar of loaded dead stormtroopers, though. He was loading all the stormtroopers.
I realized that they were dead. I realize now, but then when I first saw that, because they remind me of like the Kyber crystal containers, and I'm thinking, okay, does he have a weapon? And then I'm like, wait a minute, and I realized I was like, oh shit, those are caskets. And then when I saw Dathomir, and then it clicked together, I was like, oh, he's gonna make he's gonna create a whole legion of these.
They're doing what they did in Jedi Fallen Order when you know you go to Dathomir and all the dead rise and all that stuff. That's what his main plan is, because at this point I still don't know definitively. I have not had anybody give me definitive answer on does this show take place before or after the Battle of Jakku. No one has given me a definitive answer. Now in Mandalorian, I don't know. I reached out to my one friend Seth, who's a big Star Wars fan, and I said, okay, does this take place before or after the Battle of Jakku? And he says, I don't know, because they haven't said it like 100% yet.
I think this is before. It feels like before.
I'm starting to think it's before, but in Mandalorian season 2, Bill Burr's character, like when him and Din Djarin go into the Empire camp, you know, undercover, they mention Operation Cinder. Okay, Cinder took place right after the events of Return of the Jedi. We saw that in the Battlefront 2 game. Yeah, like when they started doing Operation Cinder. That takes place like a year or it takes place like in the same time frame of the Battle
Operation, which is Operation Resurrection hasn't happened, which is after that.
So the reason why it's so important for me as a Star Wars fan to know, does this take place before or after the Battle of Jakku? Because if it takes place after the Battle of Jakku, a lot of the Empire remnants has either been destroyed or the survivors that were good enough, strong enough, ended up going to the unknown regions, which is Exegol, or
became
maybe
the Shadow
not.
Council.
Well, yeah, but they go out there with Gallius Rex, and that's where Brendel Hux and all
Pelion
that
is
stuff
one of them
happens.
too.
Yeah.
And Pelion in them.
Yeah, because we see in Mandalorian season 3 the Shadow Council.
Yeah.
Hux's father, Brendel Hux, is on the Shadow Council. So I'm thinking, okay, so what is he out in the unknown region? So the reason why this is important, and this is why I asked the question, because if this takes place after the Battle of Jakku, then there's not a lot of Empire remnants left for Thrawn to take control of. Okay, so it would make sense for him to go to Dathomir and create an army of the dead because he has no empire at this time. The remnants of the empire is in the unknown regions, building the First Order and kidnapping kids and building the First Order and all that stuff. So that's why it's very important
using him unintentionally.
Yeah.
So, that could be Thrawn could be doing his own thing, and the Shadow Council is doing something else. Like Thrawn could be the first front, which could weaken the infrastructure of the New Republic before the First Order kicks in.
Yeah, so it's really important to find out, because if this takes place before the Battle of Jakku, then Thrawn has a lot more military. Because like there's military, like there's Empire remnants everywhere, and people don't understand that. Like in the battle or in the Aftermath novel Life Debt, there are Empire remnants on Kashyyyk, and they have no idea that the Empire was destroyed. They had no idea. Yeah, they had no idea. They just know that the Empire isn't sending them no backup, and they're kind of like living like savages on Kashyyyk.
They're running it's like almost they're running it like their own empires, their own
little splinter cells, and they're all over the galaxy. So we saw the Shadow Council in Mandalorian season 3. I like Mandalorian season 3. It had its problems, like the Jack Black Lizzo episode. I think that whole episode could have just been taken out, but they were planting a lot of seeds for this season of Ahsoka, which is going to lead into Mando season 4, and then possibly Ahsoka season 2, Skeleton Crew, and all that stuff. So there's a lot of different things to look at when it comes to the inner workings of this show and what it means for this show. Overall, I loved the season. I thought Ahsoka, to me, it is the best Star Wars live action show for me. Look, I'm not gonna bullshit nobody. Andor is a better acted, better written, and better directed show. Okay, but that is like adult show, right? That is for someone who likes Game of Thrones or 24 and all those adult. Yeah, that's adult drama shows. A lot of people don't watch Star Wars for that. A lot of people watch Star Wars because they want to have a sci-fi fantasy experience that George Lucas delivered. To me, Ahsoka is the closest.
You want to go back to the mysticism.
Yeah,
to the mysticism and everything of the Force related.
Yeah. Ahsoka scratches that itch. I think Mandalorian season 1 was really good. Mandalorian season 2 was. I like all seasons of Mandalorian. I think 3 was the weakest season, but I still think it's really, really good. But this was the one thing that delivered
better than their middles and end almost.
Yeah, well, I mean, a good show gets better with each season. Like you look at Game of Thrones,
always go back season that goes back to the first season, and it got you into it.
Yeah, but this is the only Disney Plus show to actually play Star Wars music. They actually have lightsabers in almost every episode, like, because when someone uses the Force in Ahsoka, the show, when someone used the Force, I remember, I believe it was episode 5 when Ahsoka was going to the world between worlds, and Jason and Hera were sitting on the they were standing on the cliff, and he's like, "Close your eyes, mom, think," and they start playing the Star Wars music. No other Star Wars show has done that. Even Obi-Wan, when Obi-Wan in the series, when Leia falls, he catches her with the Force, and it's the first time he used the Force in years. They play some generic music
in a long time.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know if that's a mandate from Lucasfilm
I think
or
I
Disney.
guess they want to do things different, but sometimes you gotta play the themes.
Well,
now,
yeah,
sometimes
well, yeah, I think
sometimes certain ones work in certain sections better than others. Like people wanted Duel of the Fates to play in their final duel with Darth Vader, but the meaning behind that song is the fate of Anakin Skywalker, so that wouldn't make sense because his fate's already sealed at this point.
But they didn't play any Star Wars music in that series.
Yeah, they didn't.
Nothing. Like when Vader came down, they didn't play Vader's song, and the
Imperial
excuse
March,
is
nothing.
Yeah, the excuse is, oh, well, he's not that Vader yet. Motherfucker, they played it in Revenge of the Sith. This takes place after Revenge of the Sith. They played it
they played it in Fallen Order when he showed up.
Yeah, I think it's either two things. Either Disney and Lucasfilm is saying, hey, do more original music, or the people that begin to score the music wants to put their own music in it. Because the guy who scored Ahsoka is he's Kevin Kiner. He's the guy who scored Clone Wars and Rebels. And guess what? He uses Star Wars music. He takes John Williams' music, but he morphs it into his own stuff.
Morphs it into his own.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think in a way, the music, I think it could be being saved, because I guarantee if they do an Heir to the Empire movie, which is all this is possibly leading to, you'll probably hear a lot of the music there, especially a lot of OT stuff. Yeah, you'll probably hear a lot of OT music, like original trilogy stuff. Now, I don't mind, like, I still kind of want to hear some of the prequel music, because for the lightsaber fights, that works perfectly.
Yeah.
Something about the prequel music gets it.
Yeah, true. Very, very true. But going back to what I was saying, I think in terms of what this series has done was for me, I can only speak as myself here. I can only speak to myself.
Yeah.
To me, it revived Star Wars for me. I don't think this series is perfect. I have gripes of the series, but I loved every episode, watched every episode at least 3 to 4 times. And I
saw them leading up yesterday to today.
Yeah,
this is Rebels. This is a Rebels extension more so, if anything.
Yeah, it's Rebels season 5. It's
unofficial.
The unofficial. Yeah, exactly. But I remember after Rise of Skywalker, I was so disappointed where Star Wars was going, because Star Wars seemed to be in a mess, right? It's like J.J. Abrams, he just doesn't get it. Kathleen Kennedy doesn't get it. You have these movies that are greenlit, then they fall apart, and it wasn't. And then after Book of Boba Fett, I just kind of like closed off, right? I stopped reading comics. I stopped reading the novels. Ahsoka got me to the point where I'm like, man, I got to go back and read some of these novels now. So I'm reading Shadow of the Sith, and I'm reading a lot of these Star Wars novels.
I told you that gave you some stuff that you were missing, because I was overhearing Shadows of the Sith. I'm like, okay, Rob has to listen to this one. This might give him some clues. And then you were the one that told me
Shadows of the Sith is. Go ahead.
The Luke and Lando story.
Oh, Last Shot. No, the Luke and Lando story.
Shadows in this one too. Yeah.
It's
the only I know
about Ray Sharon.
One of the issues you told me about, that's what one of the problems with the shows is they feel more like the animated, but I think to a point, to get away with some of the ridiculous in Star Wars, it needs to feel animated in live action, because you're quite literally taking these characters and putting them in live action too.
Here's the problem though, and this is where I kind of have a little bit of problem with Ahsoka. But before I get into that, hey guys, if you guys are coming in, please do me a favor. Smash that thumbs up button, okay, guys? It's Saturday evening. I appreciate you guys coming in. Show your support. Smash the thumbs up button. So here's one problem I have with the Ahsoka series in general.
Yes,
some of the writing is kind of animated, right? Like Dave Filoni, right? Like I feel like he hasn't adapted his animation scripts to live action, and that goes for all the. Other than Andor is the only one that feels like, oh man, they know how to write TV. Book of Boba Fett, and Mandalorian and Obi-Wan does not feel like they were written for TV.
Obi-Wan feels like a video game.
Hold on, someone said, hold on, Battle of Jakku is 5 years after the Battle of Yavin, 1 year after. Yeah, that's true.
So then it happened already.
Yeah, so I guess Battle of Jakku did happen then, because because Mandalorian season
So it did
1
happen.
takes
Okay,
place
so yeah,
5 years, right? Mandalorian season 1 takes place
yeah,
5 years after the
Mandalorian's right
Battle of
after that.
yeah. So okay,
Yep.
so Battle Jakku. So yeah, so that explains why Thrawn needs the dead, because he has no damn Empire cells,
Army.
right? Yeah, he has no army.
And you saw
So
Ezra's detailing his armor was he slaughtered stormtroopers. How did he do it without a lightsaber? Hey, I don't know how strong Homeboy is, but
did you hear some psycho? So I'm gonna get back into the stuff I didn't like about Ahsoka, but I heard some. So when I was watching this series, I stayed away from fan theories. I got Marvel has got me to where I hate fan theories, because so many people come up with fan theories,
I
and
do
then when they
too.
don't,
I just only listen to them to see how far they go.
but they're stupid. They were saying, one
No,
person
they
said,
are. I'm the first time I say some were stupid.
what was the name of Balin's apprentice? Shati, Shin
Hati.
Yeah. So someone's like, "Oh, that's Phasma." I was like, "No, it's not Phasma." First of all, Phasma is on a whole other different planet. Brenda Hux is the one that finds her, and she's with the First Order. The First Order don't show up until the Resistance cartoon happens, which takes place like 5 years before Force Awakens. So the First Order is not even around at this time. And
we still have another 20 years to go.
Yes. People don't understand that. They don't understand.
I gotta go here. Here's the you're gonna call this crazy. Somebody said that it's Palpatine calling to Balin, when I could tell you that's not Palpatine calling to Balin.
That's not true either.
It's a Mortis god. Yeah, it's a Mortis god that we haven't seen that.
Yes.
I know who it is.
The thing is, in the novels, the Aftermath trilogy novels, which takes place directly after Revenge or Return of the Jedi, it is said in those novels that Palpatine keeps hearing a voice calling to him from a far, far galaxy, right? So much so that people, even Vader, started thinking he's just going nuts, like he's hearing this thing way out there, right? That is the same calling that Balin is hearing, you know? So, a lot of people, now when those books came out, a lot of people interpreted, oh, well, maybe that's Snoke he hears, We of course, we find out later on Snoke was a clone, so that's not entirely that. But the Mortis gods play a huge role within the Force. So when Balin is sitting there saying, like when Shin is like, what's gonna happen when we find Thrawn? He's like, some people it's gonna be war, but for us, it's gonna be power. It's gonna be greater than, and that power is the Mortis gods, Now,
and since the Mortis the canon version of the Mortis gods, the son, the daughter, and the father, which, since Dave Filoni is a huge fan of the Legends, there's only one Mortis god now that he can introduce. Because the way I took those statues at the end is that the father is keeping something at bay. And are you familiar with the mother, the Mortis mother god?
Well, I know very little about the mother.
Well, she can be the only person now that can be established, because now there's no father, there's no son, and there's no daughter to keep her in check. And she needs a vessel. Her name's Abeloth. She would need a vessel, and someone like Balin could fulfill that role.
Yeah. Well, the statue of the father that he's on is pointing to to a light and the far corner of that planet or whatnot. But I have a friend, a very good friend, and he did not like this episode at all. And we were talking, and I eventually just kind of like, look, I'm gonna stop talking because we're gonna agree to disagree here. And to me, I feel like if you like the show, you're going to find what you need in the show. If you don't like the show, you're going to find things you don't like about the show, right? He didn't like the season finale. He said that, we have no idea. His exact words were, nothing was wrapped up, and they gave no clue of what Balin was doing. And I'm like, what do you mean there was no clue? He was standing on like a 300-foot clue. Like, that whole statue was a fucking clue.
He's in pursuit of something that is Mortis related. And the thing is, a lot of people, I guarantee, a lot of people will finally give Balin's story and all that conclusion. They'll be like this, okay, you know what? It was worth the payoff if they introduce the mother of chaos being Abeloth. She's the only person who could it be.
And you know what? I'm going to say something that's going to probably upset a lot of people. But because a lot of people are like, well, they're gonna have to recast Ray Stevens, right? No, they don't. There's
Not
no
really.
rule saying there's no rule saying if they do Ahsoka season 2 that they have to show Balin. That could be the end of his story on live screen TV, right? Like you see him on top of the statue. He's looking for a power represented by the Mortis God or whatnot. You don't need to see the conclusion of that story. You know, for me anyway, I thought it was very clear what he was searching for. We don't need to see him obtain it, or like he could die.
Shin is the only person we need to pick up now.
I think
Shin would be the person.
Maybe Shin, but I just take it. See, to me, I felt like that was all wrapped up nice and neat. You know, he's going to look for this power that's calling to him. She eventually becomes the leader of this stupid tribe on the planet because she has nowhere else to go. And basically, Ahsoka and Sabine are like, hey, we're here. No doubt she's going to start training Sabine even more. That's really it. So a lot of people saying like, well, there was no resolution. There was a lot of resolution to this series. It's just like, it might not be the
like
answers
that setting up the key players. Like they're setting up key players to the Empire story.
Yeah,
that's all it is. All these things are set up.
They might not give the answers that some fans want, but they gave you answers. You know, and there's a lot of times where I don't want answers to everything. Right? Let me just say, hey, yeah, Balin, he's looking for this thing. Maybe he dies on the way. Maybe he gets it. Who knows? You know, maybe they'll write a book about it, and that would be awesome to explore or something.
Exactly. You can always conclude it.
Yeah. Now, there's rumors that Skeleton Crew is going to be in the mix with the Ahsoka Mandalorian Book of Boba Fett storyline. So maybe
the Skeleton Crew could be the ones that gets them off?
That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing there's rumors that the Skeleton Crew is the crew that's going to get Sabine and Ahsoka off that planet. How that's going to happen, I don't know. I know very little about the Skeleton Crew. All I know is Jude Law is a former Jedi, and he has like a group of younger kids with him, and are the Skeleton. That's all I really know. That's all I really know. If you guys are jumping in, please do me a favor. Smash that thumbs up button, please. I would appreciate it. But so back to my gripes of the episode, though.
Yeah.
I loved what I saw. I think Dave Filoni is the person who should be ushering in Star Wars because he has a George Lucas mind of it all. They do need to work on how they structure these shows, because I feel like other than Andor, the structure of these shows are kind of like all over the place. My biggest problem, and I had to watch it like 3 times before I actually came to this conclusion. I don't think Dave Filoni wrote Thrawn all that great. And the reason why is if you ever read, and this goes for canon and EU.
In the Legends.
If you ever read Legends Thrawn or even the canon Thrawn novels, Thrawn is like Sherlock Holmes. Like, this dude is a genius. Like,
Rebel was a perfect interpretation of him.
Yeah. Yeah. And he sees stuff like 5, 6, 7 steps ahead before anybody. He didn't do anything in this season. And what I mean by that is he just got away. That's all he did. Like, he didn't devastate them. Like, he should have massacred them. Like, for example, in the one episode, I think it was the season finale, he was like, you know, I once, underestimated a Jedi. I'm not going to do it again. So he sends 2 TIE fighters out after them. Like, really, bro? Like send your whole arsenal out there. You know, you just certain things.
But you remember the last episode? You remember where he thought, because remember, until he figured out who Ahsoka was, he thought she was just some regular survivor. And then once he heard the name Anakin Skywalker, he was like, yeah, okay, I might have to take this seriously. But Thrawn also only acts when it's a super big threat. So it's like, if she's not within his proximity, she's not necessarily a threat if he can get away.
That is true, because he's looking at the bigger picture. He doesn't really care.
Big picture guy.
Yeah, because a lot of people are asking the question of, if they were on this planet for 10 years, how come he never went and got Ezra? And my thing was, Ezra posed no threat to him. You know, Ezra took off. He went to go do his thing. Like, why would Thrawn waste his time and resources looking for Ezra, but it serves no purpose? Yeah, his whole thing was trying to get off that damn planet, go back to the main galaxy, reestablish the Empire. So Ezra posed no real threat to him. It wasn't
And I'm
until
curious.
Sabine and huh?
I'm curious. Were the Night Sisters already on that world too? Because I don't think that was
no. The Night Sisters were in that tower when Thrawn got there.
The whole time.
And Thrawn woke up the Night Sisters. That was his plan, to wake up the Night Sisters.
And I looked at it because I was playing Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor again like a month or so ago, and I noticed the temple they were in is of the Zepho nature that we've been accustomed to.
Yes.
Well, I'm thinking
that's why a lot of people thought. Well, the Zepho, that's what a lot of people thought Balin was looking for, because of all the writing on that temple, So, but see, this is what I'm talking about when it comes down to animation writing, right?
Yeah,
you can get away with that in Clone Wars and Rebels, right? But when it comes to a television show, the audience shouldn't have to guess, like me and you, we can fill in a lot of these blanks because we're reading the comics, we're reading the books, we're reading, the EU, right? So we can fill in a lot of these blanks that a lot of people probably won't get. But your average viewers watching, they're like, what's going on? Like, they didn't explain really much of anything.
What's the big ordeal? Yeah.
Yeah, and that's very, very important. Very, very important. And even like a lot of people might look at it and be like, why are they trying to get Thrawn? What makes Thrawn so special? No one actually listed why Thrawn was special. So I just got done watching Loki season 2, episode 1. And in that, we see, Loki come back and he's like, guys, this guy is dangerous. And he's pointing to Kang and stuff, right? Like, he's letting everybody, like, you really think that this guy is dangerous. But we don't feel that same threat with Thrawn. I mean, you have
the only thing I feel that he's making, I could be wrong. This is what I think was up him in this show. I felt he was too reserved. Yeah. But I think this is also, that's expected of Thrawn. I think you and I, we would expect that of Thrawn, because it doesn't take it takes a whole lot to get Thrawn to that point where he's like, you know what, I'm throwing my damn hand down.
Yeah,
it takes a lot.
Yeah.
And it might be, let's say, if this war starts again, which could be basically the Heir to the Empire War, which was the Second Galactic Civil War in Legends, when the key players, like the key surviving Jedi, such as Luke, because I know Thrawn's gonna trip once he learns about Luke's presence, because he's gonna be like, oh shit. Anakin's got a child, he's got an apprentice, and God forbid he finds out Leia is did they ever establish how that because that's one thing I want to talk about. Well, this also connected to the Bloodlines novel. Do you think somebody that knows Thrawn and Thrawn figures out that Leia is also, like, he figures out Leia's the daughter of Vader, and then he's the one who sends somebody there to get her?
Well, he's probably gonna figure it out, because he's gonna know that she's the sister of Luke. Luke has Skywalker's last name, so he's gonna be able to figure that out. So I definitely think that's gonna be but see, it's gonna depend on how much they want to incorporate those legend characters like Luke and Han and Leia into the Heir to the Empire movie when they decide to do it, because they might want to just keep it Mandalorian, Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, Ezra, like the main crew, the Disney Plus
Ezra
universe.
Could fill Luke's parts of the combat. What Ahsoka can fill the mentor. Sabine can fill the person that's basically, she will finally come full circle with, because the only reason Mandalorians have a hard time learning the Force, because they're bullheaded.
Yeah.
That's all it was, and I knew that from the guard. That's how she would struggle. She's bullheaded, and then when she finally let go, and then boom, she got to use it. And George Lucas has said before that the Force is in everybody. It just depends. Can you devote your time?
Yeah. A lot of people were like, man, I can't believe she used the Force. I'm like, bro, like, anyone can use the Force. Like, George Lucas has said that.
Actually, what I want to see is this will also fall in symmetry. Kanan taught Ezra, and I want Ezra to teach. A lot of people want to teach Jason.
Yeah, that's probably going to happen. That's going to happen. But see, this kills me, right? So we spent all season of Sabine trying to use the Force, and she finally uses it in the season finale, right? And people complain when she does it. So they complain in Force Awakens when Rey does it without any training. But then you see Sabine train all season and she does it, and they still complain. So what the hell do you want, people? Do you want her to train or not train?
You know what they bring up? I think what I've heard brought up, I didn't hear for the Wasteland. I heard the Rise of Skywalker part when it came to the Force lightning shooting out of Rey's hands. But it makes sense because one, of her lineage, and two, she was pissed off. And that's all you need to do to use Force lightning. You need to be very pissed off and imagine your target being, cinched.
Yeah.
But she has enough training to now understand to at least use. She's using basic Force power. She's not even using anything advanced. Push is just a basic thing. It just depends how much energy you put into it. Then can definitely okay, Obi-Wan, who's not really Obi-Wan was never a great Force user. And here's an example: how the hell can he lift dozens of fucking boulders? And Rey does it, but then they get mad. But Obi-Wan is known to not be a proficient user. He's a warrior, if anything. So he can taunt all the rocks, but Rey can't use it to save people. He's using it in an offensive manner. She's just trying to get people out the way.
Well, that's what I said. If you're someone who likes the show, you're okay with it. But if you're someone who doesn't like the series, then you're gonna find all these little things to complain about. Right? I seen one person complain, why was Anakin in episode 5? Why were they showing the Clone Wars stuff? It's all member berries. I'm like, that shit's important. Because up until that point, Ahsoka has been struggling within herself on the type of person that she's going to become. And she's afraid that she's going to be much like she even said it when in that flashback scene of her in the Clone Wars. She's like, you're stronger than anyone. I don't want to be like you. And then Anakin's like, is this what this is about? And then they start fighting again. And it had to show her that he was more he became Vader, but he was more than just Vader. And that's when she became Ahsoka the White, So the people that said that that's just member berries.
I know you're not a fan of Lord of the Rings, but I like the Lord of the Rings references throughout the season. That's why. So
there was a lot of Lord of the Rings references through this season. A lot.
That's why I was on board with it.
But for someone who said that this is just member berries and they don't mean anything, I think they missed the point, right? Because what would have happened? Right? If they did not show Anakin or anything this whole season, people were like, why didn't they show Anakin?
They would be pissed.
Yeah. You can't win, man. You can't win. That's why I stay off the internet.
And think about it. Him appearing in the World Between Worlds is very significant because when he dies, the Chosen One dies, he's part of the Force. We don't know how powerful he is now. And that wasn't a Force ghost. It was confirmed that he was actually there. So it's almost like if you go there, he can physically show.
That's still up for interpretation, man. Right. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that was Anakin. I wouldn't say that the Force goes to Anakin. I'd still think that's up for interpretation until I hear Dave Filoni come out and say, no, that was Anakin. I still think, I look at it as that was the Force for looking like Anakin to teach her the lesson. That was the Force teaching her lesson. That's the way I look at it. But everybody's gonna look at it differently. But until Dave Filoni comes out and says, no, this is what this was, I'm like, all right, man. So
see, I watch it, so you know me. I go through things like at least 2 or 3 times to make sure, because if you're gonna bring one of my favorite characters back, I gotta make sure either is he really there or not. And the only reason I think he was there because why else would he specifically show Ahsoka specific things and talk very specifically in a way
he wasn't showing. Okay, so this is the way I took it. I don't think that he was showing her specific things. The thing and the reason why I have proof of that, the last flashback scene was of Mandalore, the Siege of Mandalore. Anakin wasn't even there. So it wasn't Anakin.
And he said, I don't know this place.
Yeah. So everything that we saw was coming from Ahsoka's mind. And the Force was projecting itself as Anakin because that's who she needed in order to become. Time. Yeah. So, like I said, it's up for interpretation. I'm not saying you're right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying I'm right. Not saying I'm wrong. It's
It
up for
could be anything,
interpretation.
but what if it eventually it could be a combination of the two? The Force does one thing, but he could have an influence to be like, okay, my apprentice, I'm going to give her the will to live. I'm going to act. He can act through the Force too, just like the Force itself acts through what it needs, like you said, what it needs to act through. Because that's why I thought when he showed up at the very end, that was confirmation to her that, okay, I don't know if she saw him or not. Sabine didn't, but I don't know if she saw him or not. If Ahsoka saw him, that could probably put in her mind that, okay, maybe he was there. And a lot of people saying, oh, he's missing the white robe. No, a ghost can project themselves as the person you recognize. So let's say if Obi-Wan wanted to come back, he could easily project himself as Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan if he wanted to, and be old Ben to Luke.
Yeah. The whole thing where people are like, oh, he doesn't have the white cloak or not, that doesn't matter. It's just clothing that they wear, man.
That's something at the time that they had. You can't change unless George Lucas does another thing and just darkens the thing. But that ain't gonna happen. So
it just that to me, I felt like that part was irrelevant. But one of the things that the one thing is, okay, I really liked the episode. I wanted to see Thrawn punish them. I really did.
You want to
because this is the guy
just go full malice.
Well, the thing was, right? So from Mandalorian season 3 up until now, they projected this guy to be like Thanos, right? What happened when we finally seen Thanos? Thanos kicked everybody's ass. Took all the stones and just whooped everybody's ass, right? Now I understand. He's like, I don't need to really mess with them. Whatever. I'm just trying to escape. He should have. I still stand on the belief that Ezra should have died. You know, I told everybody, like, look, there's a chance he might die. I'm not saying he's going to die, but I felt like, you know, it would have meant more if somebody died. He should have killed somebody, you know, and then just like deuces. I think that's the
role Morgan. I think Morgan was the replacement of Death. That's why when I saw her die, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, but no one cared about her. She wasn't a good guy.
No, I think that's why they were probably like, okay, good. They killed that Night Sister bitch, and as long as none of our main heroes died, people were straight, because a lot of people wanted to see Ezra just to see him show up and see him die.
Yeah, but
people were like,
nah, Thrawn needed to
kill somebody.
But Thrawn didn't kill Morgan. Thrawn needed to kill a good guy. He needed to kill someone to show how badass he is. You know, and he didn't do it.
I think you could say his actions of him giving her the order to stay behind, he could have insinuated that maybe, you know, she most likely will die against Ahsoka. That's a guess. It's a guess. You know,
it doesn't hurt our heroes though. That's what I'm saying.
No, it doesn't. You're right. You know what will make him a threat? If you open Heir to the Empire movie, let's say theoretically, he kills Hera.
Yeah. No, you can't kill her, man. Gotta kill someone else. Can't kill her, man.
I mean, what would that was set in stone that, okay, Ezra will be like, I'm gonna take the son and I'm gonna fulfill.
Not her though. Not her.
Because you don't want Mary Elizabeth Winstead to die. I already know.
Yeah, exactly. Not in those pants.
Okay, no. But I don't want the girl to play Sabine to die. There's just two things I want in this world, and that's the chick to play Sabine.
No, I mean, I don't want Sabine to die either. But the thing is, you know, Thrawn or Thanos didn't tell his people, yeah, you're gonna go die, go do this, right?
No, yeah.
No, Thanos fucked shit up himself. That's what Thrawn needed to do too. I wanted to see that strategic mind. I did really like the conversation he had with Ahsoka right before he went into warp space. And he's like, and this is why you lose today. And he told her that was cool.
What went in my head was Thrawn alliances. Because he went with Anakin to Black Spire Outpost, and then back with Vader years later.
When episode 7 came out, the Ahsoka episode 7, everybody's like, oh, he knows Luke Skywalker. Because when she said trained by Anakin Skywalker, they're like, oh, he knows Luke Skywalker. I'm like, Thrawn has no idea who the hell Luke Skywalker even is.
How long Thrawn has been out there? Wait, when was the battle? You can remind me. When was the battle of the liberation of what the fuck was that planet?
Lothal.
Lothal. Yeah,
it was like 5 to 3 years before A New Hope.
So it's just roughly estimated 5 years, and this is He's at least been out there for 10, 15 years.
Yeah, he's been out there for 10 years. So he has no idea who. Yeah, he has no idea who the fuck Luke Skywalker is.
The same way everyone was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah. Unless Morgan said, "Hey, the Empire Invader's dead. This guy named Luke Skywalker did." But when he saw Anakin Skywalker's name as her teacher, the reason why he seemed so shocked was because he went on missions with Anakin and Darth Vader.
He was like, if anybody, I respect the man.
In the Thrawn Alliance's novel, he went on missions with Anakin and Vader, so he knew him personally. And what had nothing to do with Luke Skywalker, because the dude doesn't even know who the fuck Luke Skywalker is. He doesn't even know Vader had kids at this point.
The one thing I give Thrawn, though, I think a lot of people are just not used to. I can't say it's passive aggressive, because the one thing about Thrawn that was set up in Rebels is he doesn't hate his opponents, and he doesn't hate or want like to die, but if you stand in his way, he will kill you. He respects his opponent because of the effort you're going to put in, and two, he learns, like just like he did with the Night Sisters, he respects the culture of his opponent.
Yeah, he respects the culture of the opponent, but he doesn't give a shit because he blew the shit out of that damn temple, bro. That Night Sisters. No,
that's true.
Pissed,
okay, that's true. That's what threw me off. Like, he had a chance.
Pissed,
they had so many guns on the ship. They had so many guns on the Star Destroyer. He could have just shot the ship behind him. Not give a damn.
But he gave the order to do it. He's like, destroy the temple. And then Night Sisters just looked at him, bro.
I think that because the Night Sister didn't give a shit either, so they're probably just like, okay, but he probably will respect because he took them home. He was like, I'm gonna do you that. You helping me out? I'm taking y'all home.
Yeah, but bro,
you know what I want to see in live action? I want his base of operations to be that temple from Jedi Fallen Order, the one you go to.
Oh yeah.
That would be a good,
Well, we don't know how long he's going to be on Dathomir, though, So, I don't know, man. I don't want him to hang out with Dathomir too long, though.
Too long.
But
I mean, it's a unique place to have a base of operation because, one, the sisters will be at their full power there. They could support him highly. He could run a lot of the, what is it? Any surviving Imperial people could go there, like the Shadow Council, for one. And does the New Republic know where Dathomir is?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the New Republic knows where Dathomir is. There's got to be some kind of records within the Senate.
Record somewhere, yeah. Unless they get wiped out by...
That's another damn thing. That's another damn thing that bothers me about this show. So this takes place after the Battle of Jakku, right? We established that, right? We did the breakdown, right? Just established it.
Yeah.
In the battle, right before the Battle of Jakku, right? When Mon Mothma became Chancellor, there was an assassination. Like she moved the government to her home planet of Chandrila, right? There was a assassination on her life. That's how they ended up moving the government from Coruscant to Hosnian Prime. Remember in Force Awakens, the Hosnian Prime system destroyed the whole New Republic.
They got blasted.
So my thing is, why are they going to Coruscant? The government no longer is on Coruscant. Why is Mon Mothma on Coruscant? When Gallius Rex attacked Mon Mothma and almost assassinated her, the entire government moved over to the Hosnian Prime system.
I'm taking a secondary guess, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. What if there's still a staff, like fully building, let's say, a Senate House, a Chancellor's, how
you mean it's not fully built?
Look like there?
Yeah, that's possible.
So they could be jumping back and forth. And right now they're like, okay, since we already have offices and everything established here, but you see how their security is on high, they can be like, all right, we're here. We're gonna have no choice but to do it here, but we will alternate back and forth because you notice how some of those guys are also doing it from holograms at the safety of their locations.
Yeah.
And not a lot of
because the core scene, like everything that we saw government related in Ahsoka, all took place on Coruscant, right? Mon Mothma was there. The core all that stuff was on Coruscant. It should be in Hosnian Prime. Now you do make a good point. Well, they could be building a lot of that shit on Hosnian Prime, and they're still using.
Look how big the Senate building was, and Palpatine's freaking. Well, no wait, Palpatine's office and the big round chancellor court building. They're in the same. Are they across from each other? Or are they in the same building? I'm trying to remember. Because they look like that big round. It's that big
Senate,
round fucking dome.
The Senate, the big round thing, the Senate. Yeah,
Is Chancellor Palpatine's
where
office located at there, like in there somewhere?
Yeah, Palpatine's located there, I believe, or his office was.
But he relocated to the Imperial Palace built on the Jedi Temple.
He took the Jedi Temple and made it into like
Imperial
a ballroom and shit. Like it's an Imperial something, man. It's something. But
you
yeah,
see it briefly in Survivor.
Well, yeah, but in Lost Stars, the novel Lost Stars, when the cadets graduate, they have like this giant banquet inside
over
the former Jedi Temple. Yeah. So
speaking of which, that's a character I wish would have appeared in Ahsoka, but I know it wouldn't have made sense. Even if it would have just been a cameo, I want to see, because the guy actor already is him, photorealistic, Cal Kestis.
Oh yeah, but see, okay, so Gaskar, what's up, buddy? I see you in the chat, by the way. He did a stream 2-3 weeks ago.
He could be an heir to the Empire.
Yeah, but the people on a couple people that were in his stream were like, yeah, like they started coming up with like predictions on who they wanted to see show up. But it doesn't make any damn sense. One of them said, "Oh, Luke's gonna show up." That didn't make no sense. And I told people that
it wasn't
like,
going to.
No way.
How are you gonna get here?
Yeah, he doesn't even know what the fuck's going on. And the other one was Morgan from Jedi Survivor. Like,
which wouldn't make sense because she would be with Cal at this point.
Yeah, like, she would be with Cal. But see, Cal, if you place Jedi Survivor, Cal and Morgan, all them, they're on a completely different galaxy now too. You know, they went to that one planet. You know, remember they went to
it's just on the other. It's not in another galaxy. It's just on the very edge of going into the unknown region. So it's like the main.
Yeah, it's going into the unknown region.
You're on the border of the unknown region. The unknown region is still within our galaxy. It's just it's not mapped. So it's like right there.
It's not mapped.
He can come back and forth because I'm pretty sure he knows the way now. He knows how to do it.
The only people that know how to get through the unknown regions are the Chiss. The Chiss are the only ones that know how to get through the unknown region.
Yeah, but I don't think the Chiss are going to side with Thrawn because they don't want war. From my understanding, they're not really. No. A war.
We're probably never going to see the Chiss in Star Wars unless it's in the novels because for some reason they don't like pulling from that. But yeah, the Chiss, the Chiss are like pretty.
If the Night Sisters are involved again, Morgan's gonna have to make an appearance because she's gonna see Dathomir active again, and she says she's gone there several times.
Yeah, but they don't have to though. That's the thing, right? Like that's a side story.
I'm just thinking it's just like if you want to set up and have all these key like lightsaber wielders, they're already being established throughout the different media, such as the books, the comics, the games, and the show, and they could all have an Avenger style moment showing up, all lined up, ready to take on the Empire.
That's the thing. If they want to do that, if they want to build like Heir to the Empire, but see, you don't want to overcrowd the Heir to the Empire, right?
Yeah. But is it going to be one movie though to do all that?
That's the thing. Lucasfilm is so disorganized. We don't know. Lucasfilm is so disorganized because like they still haven't even greenlit season 2 of Ahsoka yet, so we don't even know like what's going on with that. So. You don't want to overcrowd, like, so if Heir to the Empire, if it's only going to be one movie, that's going to be very disappointing. All this build up to Thrawn and you're going to beat him in one movie.
So what would you prefer? Do another show or two that has all these characters starting to interact, then the movie is ready for it, because then we're all established, we all know the key people, and
the rumor is Skeleton Crew, Mandalorian season 4, Ahsoka season 2, the movie. That's the rumor. But right now, still
like in between, like something that could like just instantly lead in, like preparing us slowly. Like you start seeing the war, like a show that's building, like the war's coming. Because I doubt instantly Thrawn's going to be able to have all those troopers resurrected. That's still going to take some time.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you got Skeleton Crew.
Yeah.
Mandalorian season 4 and Ahsoka season 2. So
we can take advantage of this. A Jedi 3 game,
Well, if you want to talk about them, but they have zero part on what's going to happen.
Zero part, yeah. They're more involved with like the hidden path and the Jedi side of things, like getting survivors out. Shit, that just actually hit me. that temple in that game? What if they need Jedi and there's Jedi survivors to come and help in a war against the new Empire? Who knows how many people Cal could have found?
Yeah, but you also got to remember too, the more Jedi we bring in, the more. See, the problem is with Star Wars, man. They kind of like lock
Order
themselves
66
in.
gets lessened.
Well, not Order 66 is less. It's just like, where the hell do all these Jedi come Force Awakens?
That's true.
You know?
Unless they all really do die in, let's say, this fight to defeat Thrawn. And
but they're not gonna. They're not gonna kill Ezra. They're not gonna kill Ezra, Jason, Kel Cactus, Grogu. You know, they're not gonna
kill miscellaneous people. They'll probably just kill miscellaneous people, like regular like knights that survived, or some Padawans that survived, and they became a little bit more aggressive and rugged. The only person I could also survive.
10-minute warning, guys. 10-minute warning.
Quinlan.
Boss? Well, we know he survived in. Well, we don't know if he's alive now.
Alive
we know he survived. Still. What game?
He was mentioned in, like, did you do every little side mission in Jedi Survivor?
Hell no. I played the main missions and that was it.
That's what I'm saying. I did. He's mentioned. So he's out there still. Like, he's still alive.
I know he's mentioned in the Obi-Wan series. I know that.
Show. No, but he's mentioned here too again.
Okay. So yeah, I just don't know what they want to do with it, man. Because the thing is, here's the thing: Dave Filoni doesn't necessarily pull from the books unless he has to, you know. So I don't think he's really caring about what's going on in the Jedi Survivor game. Like, I feel like he's like looking at that as like, well, that's the game, because they haven't showed Iden Versio in any of these live action series, Del Mico in any of these live action series. These two were at the Battle of Jakku. You know, like these are like big people, you know, not only from the Battlefront game, but also from the Inferno Squadron novel.
Iden Versio is Jyn Erso's father, right?
No, Iden Versio is from Battlefront 2.
I'm giving my lore mixed up again, because I remember, because when you say, you know, Erso, I think of the girl.
No, Iden Versio, not Erso. Jyn Erso. You're thinking of Jyn Erso.
I got you now. Yeah. Now I got you.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I thought of most that character, so that's why.
Yeah, no, Iden Versio, she was in the Battlefront 2. She was in the Inferno Squadron. She was at the Battle of Jakku. She was there during Operation Cinder. Yeah, so she dies though in the DLC for Battlefront 2. Del Mico and her died.
Which is a week before Last Jedi starts.
Oh, that's when she died. Oh, so she should be around during this time, and she's an actual actor that looks just like her character.
It goes off. See that DLC, because you told me one time because you were trying to play it, but then you got caught up doing something. And I was like, Rob, I know where this goes, and you were like, John, just
yeah.
I was like, all right,
yeah. Operation Resurrection, right?
And it takes place like, you know, when Leia was saying all true, like they were trying to get people to retreat off of what was that planet from that they were getting off during the evacuation of Last Jedi? Force Awakens? Yes.
Oh, Last Jedi? You're talking about
not Crate, but the first planet they left.
Oh, not Crate. I just call it Wannabe Yavin.
Yeah, well, they were doing that, and then you hear the transmission. The daughter hears it, and Iden says that, you know, because the ship was pretty much clear. They wiped out the stormtroopers. She just said, "Go there and retreat with the resistance." Yeah. And then she dies on the ship, and then the ship was on a plot trajectory towards with the supremacy showing up and things like that.
Yeah. See, I never played the DLC for Battlefront 2, but so if you read the Lost Stars novel, that leads into the Battle of Jakku. Yeah. If you read the Aftermath novel, that leads into the Battle of Jakku. Battlefront 2 leads into the Battle of Jakku. The characters from all three of those are at the Battle of Jakku. So it would make sense that characters from all three of those were mentioned somewhere in this universe, right? So Iden Versio is alive. Sin Ray, I believe her name is. I can't remember her name from Lost Stars. She's alive. Calcatus, all of them, like they're all alive at, you know, so I don't know.
All alive.
But yeah, there's a lot of people alive, but it's just gonna be like what makes sense for the story. I personally, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't think they should do an Heir to the Empire movie. You know what I think they should do? Maybe a movie. Okay, I'm gonna take that back. Maybe a movie, but a movie on Disney Plus. You know what they should do? I think, because it's clear that Kathleen Kennedy doesn't know what's going on with these movies, because we have so many movies get greenlit and not get greenlit. They should do what CW did with the Arrowverse, but for Star Wars. You know how they have like they did like
I know.
first it was Arrow, then Flash, and then Supergirl, then Black Lightning, and then they did like the big crossover event. They need to do that.
I
like
think
have
you should do it like
Skeleton Crew.
and then if it's on Disney Plus, you can get away with doing it in multiple parts, or at least maybe just one or two parts would be enough. A build up, like Avengers, a build up, and then the big throwdown.
Yeah, they could do like Werewolf by Night. Make it like an hour and a half special, and then have that be like Heir to the Empire, and you can kind of set it up and go. Because I don't know, man. It just feels like when I start breaking down the time frame of this stuff. Okay, we got Skeleton Crew, then we have Mandalorian season 4. Okay,
in 30 years it seems.
So at this point, that's already what 2024, 2025. Mandalorian is going to come out like 2025. Ahsoka might come out in 2025. So the movie's 2026. Dude, we're talking about like, dude, I'm going to be like 45 years old by the time this shit comes out. It just feels like.
I'm going to be, 32? I'm going to be going on 32, 33.
It just seems like you need to strike when the iron's hot on this stuff. Like movie production takes 3 years. This movie's not even in production yet. Ahsoka season 2 is not even in production yet. So you're talking about the Heir to the Empire movie coming out, what, 2028? We're in 20. Who wants to wait 5 years? You know what I mean?
Well, crazy fools like us, most likely, because we want to see the resolution. We want to see the resolution. This is a 30-year gap.
This is the problem, though. Lucasfilms, if they want to do
this,
it's not
Marvel. That's the thing.
It needs to be all hands on deck. It needs to be all hands on deck,
or nothing at all.
Like stop this Rey movie. I'm actually one of the few people that actually want to see the Rey movie. I do. I want to see the conclusion of Rise of Skywalker. But I think they're trying to do too many different things at once. Focus on telling one story right now. Right? Say, okay, hey, look, Jon Favreau, you guys are gonna start writing the stories. Like they're gonna be the Kevin Feige, mapping out all this stuff, right? Like, okay, we're gonna do Mandalorian, blah 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 blah. We're gonna start getting directors and writers, and we're gonna start shooting all this stuff at once. While this stuff is shooting, we're developing the movie. We're gonna get it. Like Dave Filoni's gonna direct it and all this stuff, and then that way it's sort of like when Marvel was firing on all cylinders in phase 2 and phase 3, like everything was in production at the same time. They had like 4 or 5 movies in production at the same time, and they were like just coming out, right? That's because they knew what the roadmap was. You can't sit there and do a Rey movie, an Heir to the Empire movie, a Knights of the Old Republic movie.
So in your opinion, I want to ask you this question, Rob. What's more complicated? What would you think is more complicated? And I'm pretty sure you'll probably say one or the other. Do you think it's more complicated for Star Wars to do that versus Marvel? Or was it easier to just do it with superheroes versus Star Wars, which, I mean, Marvel has just as much as a rich history as Star Wars does, but which one is more complex to try to get like that?
Star Wars is complex on the fact that they keep wanting to bounce around timelines.
Yeah.
Which is just it confuses people, right? You have Force Awakens, and then you have Rogue One that takes place before the Battle of Yavin.
They should have did this. They should have did this instead of the sequel trilogy. After the Empire, then do all these shows first, then lead them into movies again. It gives people time to reaccustom themselves.
When Force Awakens came out, there was no Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
They were just trying to do these movies. They wanted to get the characters back, like Luke, Leia, and stuff like that, right? We all know that the sequel trilogy was poorly developed, right? But they have the means to develop this storyline
to do it now.
But they need to sit down. It needs to be all hands on deck. You can't have multiple movies in development because you're bound to tell one story, then go tell the Rey story. It's all over the place. But anyway, man, we hit the hour mark, so I'm going to go ahead and dip. But John, tell the people where they can find your YouTube channel, man.
Oh, just type in. It's right here. It shows it on the friggin' my name right here. Is Emperor John Kill
Emperor
3D.
John Kill.
That's the easy thing to
All right.
pop up. And I'm sure Rob, you'll probably put it in your what do you your description. There you go.
Description. Yeah.
Right now, I'm trying to just focus on like I have all my games luckily running that I got back there. All those games that you said I was running, they're all right there on the shelf behind me. So when I get days off like this, then I can actually do stuff. The last thing I did was review Mortal Kombat 1, and I'm trying to stream the campaign, but damn.
I refuse to play Mortal Kombat 1, but I digress. But anyway, guys, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like we were kind of like all over the place with the
just like Star Wars.
Yeah, it's just like Star Wars. But hopefully you guys learned a little thing or two about the lore and stuff. And maybe we'll do this again. Maybe we won't. Yeah. We got to kind of see how our schedules line up. But thank you guys so much for watching. Yeah. Appreciate you. Until next time, guys. Peace out.